What's up guys, Shane Starnes here, and I just received my Razer Phone 2. This has a killer 120Hz display. It's optimized for gaming prowess, but there are a few things that you're going to want to do to this phone when you take it out of the box to get the best possible experience. These are the first 10 things you should do on the Razer Phone 2. Let's go ahead and get started. So one of the coolest features of the Razer Phone 2 has to be this Chroma Light on the back. This is similar to the light that's on their line of laptops. They've got it included here. The first thing that I would suggest doing is go ahead and change your Chroma settings. To do that, we will jump into our settings, go down to Chroma, and you can turn the notifications on. So this is actually going to light up anytime a notification comes through. So if you have your phone setting down on a desk and an email comes through or a text message comes through, the light's going to light up to let you know, hey, you're receiving some sort of notification. You can set your battery consumption. If you set it to low, the logo is dimmed and only shows when notifications come through. Medium, the logo is not dimmed, and it's also going to show when the screen is turned on. And with high, the chroma effect will stay turned on until you switch it off or use another mode. You can also change what chroma does here as far as like what kind of lights are displayed. You can change the effect. You can change the brightness of the LEDs on the back, and then you can have either breathing, static, or spectrum. If you choose static, you can choose the exact color that you want to show up. The spectrum is going to show all of the colors, and it's just going to kind of go through the different array of colors randomly. And then if you go to the breathing, it's going to pulse whichever color that you choose. One thing that I wish that they would have included here would be the option to change the color based on the application that's giving us notifications. That way you know exactly which notification came through. Say if a Gmail notification came through, you could have it to be red, or if a Twitter notification came through, you could have that to be blue. I don't really understand why we don't have that kind of level of customization for this light. I think it would make a world of difference. One of the main reasons that you would buy the Razer Phone 2 is for that killer 120Hz refresh rate on the display. By default, it's set to 60Hz, so the second thing you want to do is jump into the settings and change that to 120Hz. That way you can get the best possible performance out of this display. So we'll jump into our settings. We'll go into the display settings and refresh rate, change it from 60Hz to 120Hz. Now the reason why they have it set to 60Hz by default is because it's going to help preserve the battery life. If you're not really worried about battery life and you just want the very best experience on this display, then just go ahead and change it to that 120Hz. There's always the option to jump back to 60Hz if you need to preserve battery life. So while we are in the display settings, the third thing you'll want to do is head into the advanced display settings and turn on tap to wake. So this really comes in handy if the phone is just kind of setting on a desk. You can double tap to wake it. You're going to be able to see the time, the date, and any notifications right there on the lock screen. And then to unlock it, you would just swipe up and enter your PIN. That way you don't have to use that fingerprint scanner when the phone's laying flat on a desk. You'll notice by default that all you have here is a battery indicator. You don't have a battery percentage indicator, so you don't really know accurately how much battery you have left on your phone. The fourth thing you'll want to do is go ahead and activate the battery percentage in your notification bar. To enable the battery percentage, we'll go into our settings, go into battery, and go down to battery percentage, turn it on, and you'll notice up top we now have battery percentage in our status bar. And there it is up close so that you can see it a little bit better. This phone is a gaming device first and foremost, so the fifth thing you'll want to do is go ahead and set up Game Booster. Game Booster is Razer's proprietary software that just helps with gaming performance on this phone. To set that up, we'll go into our settings. You'll go to Game Booster. You'll notice that you have three options here: custom, power save, and performance. My recommendation is custom, and then you can add or remove games that you want to increase performance on. There's even a do not disturb setting. That way you're not going to be interrupted when playing video games. When you're done playing all of those video games, you're going to want to get some rest, and to do so, you'll probably want to turn on do not disturb mode. That's the sixth thing that you should do. In order to turn on do not disturb mode, you're going to head into your settings. You'll head into sound, head into Do Not Disturb Preferences. Now this is going to allow you to mute notifications while you're sleeping. So you can set up a time, say from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That way you're not going to receive any text messages, phone calls, or email notifications throughout the evening, so that you're not woken up by a vibrating phone or sounds going off. You can also set up your favorites and allow those to come through. So if you need to be contacted by your relatives or friends, they can still contact you even when Do Not Disturb mode is turned on. Earlier, we set up double tap to wake. You may also want to set up double tap to sleep. To do that, we'll go into settings. It's also in the display settings. And if we go to advanced, it is right under the tap to wake. It's the tap to sleep. If you do wake up your phone in order to check out your notifications, you can just double tap to make it go back to sleep. If you've been in the Android community for very long, then you may notice right off the bat that the Razer Phone 2 is running Nova Launcher. It's not running a custom skin launcher. They basically took a launcher that is tried and true that everybody loves, and they added it to their phone. So Nova Launcher has plenty of custom settings. You could customize the Nova Launcher for hours on end. One place where you may want to start out is the apps and widgets drawer. You can change the app drawer style to either horizontal, vertical, or list, depending on what your preference is. I prefer vertical since I've kind of been on stock Android for a while. Vertical is the way the app drawer is on my Pixel 3 XL, so I kind of like the vertical style, and I'll keep that for the Razer Phone 2. The Razer Phone 2 has a pretty decent camera, and it can actually record in 4K, but it doesn't do that out of the box. It's set by default to 1080p, so if you want to record in 4K, go ahead and launch your camera, go over to video, go to your settings, and go to the resolution of the back camera here, and go ahead and set that to 4K. I suggest doing this right away, that way you don't forget. It would kind of be a shame if you had been recording videos thinking that you were recording in 4K when you were actually recording in 1080p. Our cell phones are great, except when it's time to sleep. If you're like me, the cell phone tends to keep you awake, and part of the reason why is because of the blue light that emits from the display. There's actually a blue light filter that you can enable. This allows the screen to be a little more soothing, which will allow you to be able to fall asleep. So in order to set that up, you're going to go into your settings. You'll go into display, you'll go into night light, and you can schedule a time for night light to turn on. So if you know you always go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, you can schedule it to start at 10 and stop at 6 a.m. when you wake up. All right, guys, that about wraps it up for the first 10 things that you should do to get the best experience out of the Razer Phone 2. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. Thanks, guys, for watching. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next one.